Alrighty. Make sure everything's all good. Double check our audios. Audio.
All right.
Something like that. YouTube, we're good. And on the Facebook side. And we're all good over on that side too with the Facebook. So, welcome to episode number 21 of the Whitetails and Whiskey podcast. I'm Ben. Nate had to do some daddy duty tonight, so Jake offered to come over and step in and join in the conversation tonight with the podcast. So thanks for coming back, Jake. It's been, 6-8 episodes since the last time you were on, something like that.
I think it was 5 was my last go.
It's been a bit, because I think the last time you were on, we had just shot Outlaw, or not Outlaw, but St. Patrick.
I was getting ready to go back on my second rutcation. Just worked out perfectly for taking time off and when the podcast was.
Yep.
Season ended. Nothing.
No,
it was a rough season. I got back in the mindset of gotta kill big deer, where last year it was gotta get it under the belt, gonna shoot the first thing that walks in front of me.
Okay.
And preseason scouting and everything showing up on cameras, it was like, you know what? I think I've got these 2 bucks picked out pretty well.
Mhm.
I think I know what they're doing. And it was just a matter of the days they were there. I was at work, and if not, I was missing them by half hour, 45 minutes. And so no pictures of them from the 17th of November. So pulled cameras last weekend, still nothing. So I guess we'll see what happens come summertime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they could just be an early season, user of the property too.
Yeah.
So it's tough to say whether you got them, for the whole duration. And we got bucks that we haven't seen before, and then we still got some bucks that, like you said, I haven't seen since mid-November, whether they got shot, hit by a car, moved off, whatever. But there's always an influx of coming and going. To some extent, you do have some home bodies, but
yeah, I went back and looked at cameras from the first year I started hunting the property, where I had that giant 4-point I showed you.
Uh-huh.
And I'm pretty sure he turned out to be that 8 that I saw this year. Looking at everything, it seemed to be pretty much the same. And the 10 from a couple years ago, I'm pretty sure was that 110 I had this year with the crooked brow tines.
Yep.
Just the way the main beams came, brow tines looked, and judging on the time of year on the 1-year rule, I mean, now I have great times. I almost have them. They were on the property for 2-3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So one did show back up on Halloween.
Yep.
So as we know, year before Halloween seemed to be my lucky day. So I might just be meant to kill on Halloween. We'll see.
Yeah, I've never killed on Halloween ever. Just happened to be.
We were talking about that.
Yep.
You always seem to be like right at the beginning of the rut or right at the tail end of it.
Yep.
Isn't that when most years are?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have killed a couple in late October. Just haven't killed one on Halloween or whatnot. And then I know I kill a fair amount of my bucks with the bow that first week, week 10 days of November. Hunting 1-year rule and stuff like that. So. But yeah, never killed on Halloween. Just hasn't lined up for me. It's not that I haven't had opportunities, just I've never killed one.
Right.
So, but
we still got a lot more hunting seasons and a lot more Halloweens to come.
Hope so. But yeah, so that's just a little, I guess, bring everybody up to date on Jake's season and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it wasn't a very eventful one, but sometimes you have lean years and other years you got plentiful years, so you never know what it's going to be.
We ended the season the right way, though, sitting in the blind together.
Yep. Yeah, you came out for a management hunt over at the farm and didn't end up getting the shot opportunity we wanted, but had a good time, and we could watch a little bit of football from the blind, so that worked out all right too. But yeah, so I guess kind of current event stuff. I know Jake said something about soapbox. That's why the title says soapbox ? So we'll see what Jake's got in mind for that, but. want to talk about the whiskey we're drinking tonight. Jake almost bought this one the other day when we were out and about, and he wanted to try it first. This is Wild Turkey's Long Branch. It's a little bit different flavor profile than the normal Wild Turkey products, and a little bit lower proof. It's not like the 101 or Rare Breed where it's barrel proof, or even the Russells or something like that.
Right.
But it comes in at like 86 proof. It's definitely different. I think this one is a good introductory sipper for somebody that maybe wants to get into sipping something that's pretty easy going, but has some different flavors with it and stuff like that. And this was Matthew McConaughey when he was the outreach coordinator, I think was his title for Wild Turkey, something like that. They didn't renew his contract, so this is a bottle that won't be. I'm assuming they're going to strike his name off of it. Whether he's going to take the recipe and go or what, that hasn't all shook out. But they didn't re-sign him at the beginning of the year, so he went free agent.
Oh, boy.
I guess he's heading back to Texas to maybe take his recipe with him. So they filter this through mesquite wood and charcoal.
Okay.
So that's where you get kind of that smoky flavor with it.
Very Texas-y.
Very kind of Texas, kind of cross with the Long Branch and the Wild Turkey brand. But it's a pretty bottle. I mean, I got a couple of them down here at the bar that, ones that we might sip a little bit on it. I mean, you can see we drank it down past the shoulder now. But we put it how Matt likes his, and that's with a big ice cube. Not really my thing, but we're going to do it with a big ice cube tonight. So, like Nate says, all right. So whatever you guys are drinking tonight, cheers. So what do you think? Because before we started, I had you have two blind tastes of what we're going to do next week.
Yep.
And then this one. And you guys will have to tune in next week to figure out what Jake picked, because he picked next week's bottle over this one on the blind test.
I will say, though,
yep,
I have had the mystery bottle.
The mystery bottle before?
I've had it before. I do enjoy it.
Yep.
It is one of my favorites.
Okay.
So
that's fair. That's fair.
I mean,
that's fair. So you
solid.
might have went back to the similarity and the familiarity with the bottle too.
The hug,
and it's different. I mean, it's just like I've never had a smoked cocktail like you might see guys doing now with the torch and the chips and smoking your stuff ahead of time before you drink it.
Let's be honest, though.
It's smoky.
We're not that fancy.
It's all right.
It's all right.
I mean, it's not great. I'm not going to pour this one every day.
No.
But it's kind of cool. It adds to my roost, I call it, up top with all the Wild Turkey brands I got. But we're drinking Long Branch tonight for this because Jake wanted to try it. And I told him, he said, well, if it's anything I got, you can try it before you buy it at Ben's Bar. So,
atmosphere is better here.
Yeah, no judging. And I'm not going to charge you for the pour. It's expensive to pay. I think these are like 30. I think I paid 36 for this one, but
you're looking at $6 a pour out of that at a bar.
Oh yeah, probably if they got it. But no, I think for if you can get it for that $36, $38, that's what I usually see it for when you can find it. But again, they might be disappearing off the shelf now that I'm sure they got enough of the juice. You might just see McConaughey's name not be on it anymore.
I might swing into the local liquor store on the way home, grab a bottle just
to have a momentum on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I will say this does taste better over ice.
Yeah, I think it smooths out. I think it's just almost too much mesquite smoke.
Yeah.
I think, without the ice to take the smoke edge off of it.
Because without that ice, it does want to bite you.
It's smoky.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, but I think it would be a nice one for maybe summertime by the campfire, that kind of one too. I think it'd be all right that time of the year. But again, I might drop a big ice cube in it, being hotter weather.
Yeah.
So.
That could be the whole intended purpose.
And Nate says just 2 drops of water. That's all you put in them. Just 2 drops. 2 drops. 2 drops of water. All right.
You want to talk about losing composure at full draw.
Yeah. But, no, so it's not a bad one. Like I said, it's all right. I mean, I think it would be a little bit better, a little bit higher proof too, maybe. But I think that smoke takes a lot of the other flavors out of it.
Yeah.
The other Wild Turkey kind of, and I don't know if it's the same mash, but I think Wild Turkey only has one mash bill that they use. And then I think the way they filter this and then do it through the charcoal and the mesquite wood definitely gives it its smoky, like you said, that Texas flavor.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
but yeah, I mean, and that, like we were talking too, for the $40, I'm going and buying a Russell's 10.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
This is cool, everything like that, but that Russell's 10's, that's my go-to. I mean, that's my daily. You could put it on ice, you could put it plain, you could put it in a cocktail, whatever way you want to drink it, and it's not going to hurt your budget. You can find it just about everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not sold out, that's the only thing. It's getting to be pretty popular, and a lot of people have asked me about it. And like I said, that's been my go-to, go-to daily, for the most part lately.
Well, it's a lot people have been pimping out Rare Breed.
Rare Breed is getting tough to find, and Rare Breed's a little bit more expensive. You're going to get up around 50, 52.
Yeah,
maybe.
But personally, I'll spend the money on that bottle all day.
Yeah, the Rare Breed's good, but I remember when you used to be able to get Rare Breed for like $35.
Yeah,
and for a barrel proof, whiskey that's, I don't know, probably 7-8 years old. I forget how old the Rare Breed is.
Just drinking it.
It's great.
Yeah,
But again, that Russell's, you get a nice 10-year. I do have a Russell's single barrel that you found me the other day that I haven't tapped yet. I'm waiting for it. So that's a Russell's 10 single barrel.
I say we throw that into the dirty 30 pile.
Yeah, that one might get thrown into the dirty 30 pile if I can contain myself. I got a couple of them that are waiting on my 30th birthday in July, and I don't know if they're all going to make it.
I mean, we can just put them in the truck, and I can
hold No, you're not going to. No.
I'll hold them hostage.
We won't play that. But no, me and Nate got into that E.H. Taylor after last week's episode, just because I wanted to try it, and we'll save that for another one because I think we're going to put that in the Infinity bottle coming up too.
Okay.
But yeah, so this will go into the new Infinity bottle, which is down there on the shelf by you, Jake. Forget where it went. Nope, it's right there at the end of the bar. I knew it was somewhere up here. So we took 1 ounce or 1.5 ounces, I think it was, out of the original Infinity bottle, and that's what we started Infinity bottle number 2 with. So this has, to start it, everything from Infinity bottle 1 in it.
Oh boy.
The whole 19 schmatterings of whiskey in it. So that's the start, and then we'll put a little bit of the Long Branch in it and roll our Infinity bottle 2, which I have a new app to keep track of it and to tell you the approximate proof next time.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yep. So that was like $1.99 for the app. So
nice.
I figured it was neat. And then it tells you if you pull some out, put some back in, tells you, and it calculates the proof as you go. Keeps notes, stuff like that. So the app is called, I think, Infinity Bottle.
So it's kind of like your own whiskey accountant, essentially.
Yeah, basically runs my books for me on my Infinity bottles. And the Infinity bottle was so good. When we gave one away to Mark, I had the recipe, obviously. So I sat down and made one for the bar. So we got one down here at the bar too.
Oh, sweet.
For when people want to come over and try the Infinity bottle from the first batch, we got a bottle of it back there on the bar now. So you're welcome to try it. And there's definitely nothing like it. And that's what we might switch to after we finish this Long Branch off, just because it's that good, man. I like it a lot. And I think it's definitely it's probably over 90. It's probably like mid-90s for proof, but it doesn't drink like a 90s. It drinks, lighter than an 80, but it's not.
Really?
Yep. Because that's got a couple barrel proof stuffs in it, some high 90s stuff in it too. A lot of good whiskey in it, and but they're all good in their own way. Even if it's not your flavor, it might be somebody else's.
Looking forward to trying it.
Yep.
So we do have one announcement we have to get to.
Okay. Oh yeah. So my wife said that she wanted me to shout this out on the podcast. The Sweetheart Sip and Stroll is February 11th, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And the tastings are a variety of wine, beers, spirits, all throughout historic Phelps. Tickets online through Phelps New York Happenings Facebook page or at the Phelps BDTC. See hours posted on the Phelps Happenings page. And I think it says here a couple notes for this. It's $20 for all the tastings, and right now they're looking at 8+ tastings. Sounds like I'll at least be there. pouring for a Whitetails and whiskey tasting station. So I can only assume that we're probably not going to be sipping wine at this one for the tasting. So we'll be on the spirit side of the conversation probably with our tasting station, and we got to go talk to a couple more places to see if they're interested in sponsoring tasting stations too, and see if we can get a couple more people on board with it. But I think my wife might be able to correct me, but I think it's 200 tickets they sell, and once they're sold out, they're sold out. So
Believe so.
I think that's somewhere in that ballpark, and that's manageable between the 8 stops. That way you can send them to different ways and bring it back around. But,
we've wandered it a few times.
I've been on a sip and stroll or two throughout Phelps, but I think this time I'll be a pourer and support it with the podcast and everything like that, and the local Phelps sip and stroll. So I'm looking forward to it. Now I just got to figure out what whiskeys to bring that aren't going to break the bank to serve 200 people. I don't know if I got enough long branch to do that. So,
oh, that's true.
Yep. But anyway, the sip and stroll. Barb comments, and when is the sip and stroll? So that's February 11th, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So that's coming up. That's Super Bowl weekend.
Yep.
But the Saturday of Super Bowl weekend, not the Sunday. So it's a great little event for, you're watching the Super Bowl. You can go take the wife to the sip and stroll on Saturday, get yourself some brownie points to watch the Super Bowl, or go watch it with your buddies. To take her to the sip and stroll, or buy her and her girlfriends tickets to the sip and stroll, or take her whatever way you want to do it. Yeah. So,
speaking of the Super Bowl, how about them Eagles? How about them?
Go ahead. Fly your Eagles around a little bit.
No, I don't want to get all the Cowboy fans riled up.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. You never know how it's going to shake out. But no, it's looking like a good weekend for football this weekend too, and everything. Looking forward to that for sure. But yeah, other than that, I mean, sip and stroll. That's a great event. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it. Trying to find some good budget whiskeys and bourbons to have for tasting samples. And obviously, we're not going to pour full ounce servings. I mean, we'd be looking at busting a bunch of bottles, and we want to make sure people can safely drive home too.
Oh, absolutely.
So, always, if you are going to overindulge or stop at, maybe Crafties, Smoking Tails or something and get full tastings or full servings,
make sure
you have a designated driver and always drink responsibly with it.
Absolutely.
So, but I think we're doing communion pours, the little quarter ouncers. I think that's what Hannah says that they recommend for the spirit pours.
Okay.
So,
whenever someone says communion, I instantly go,
yeah. So I'm thinking probably if I can figure out 3 or 4, but nice budget bottles that are good, high quality ones. And obviously I can't pick from Smoking Tails because they're going to be on the tour stop.
Iron Smoke?
I think Iron Smoke's on the tour stop too. They're usually there. Have a tasting station. What are you looking for?
Trying to think of an idea for you.
Oh, trying to think for ideas? Well, I think there's plenty of smatterings of ideas. I know that Evan Williams Bottled and Bond would be a good one.
Yep.
That's a nice cheap one, 100 proofer. There's a lot of stuff.
Maybe an Old Elk.
Old Elk's a little pricey.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean,
that's true.
You're getting into 40, but we can think about it. That Bottled and Bond would be a good one. There's a couple other good ones that could take some places for it. Turkey 101. I mean, there's a lot of good economic buys. I mean, Turkey 101, you could buy a big handle of that for I think $30 nowadays. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, that might be the economic buy, and then there might be some other good ones that if they like those, maybe they, maybe I bring a couple samples of other stuff and go from there. Or I mean, I don't know how it is. I think I have to be fresh cracked bottles. I don't think I can bring open bottles to the event. I was gonna say maybe I'll mix up like 4 Infinity bottles, but I don't know if I can do that legally with New York State. I think they have to be fresh cracked bottles. I don't know. That's a question for my wife, but
the wrong guy to ask.
Wrong person to ask with it. But Nate says, "Congrats, Austin, on the Best Buck Weekly winner in the New York Outdoor News." I did see that. So, Austin Wilkes got Best Buck Weekly winner from this last issue of New York Outdoor Newspaper. So, congrats to Austin.
Congrats,
Phelps.
Man. That's awesome.
I don't know if he shot the buck in Phelps, but I think he took it in Ontario County. I think it said in the picture. So, Yeah, heck of a buck. He shot it with his bow. Really cool buck. Got real unique brow tine, kind of like a paddle, almost like a caribou on the one side. Yeah, he's pretty cool looking buck. So if you have an issue of the outdoor news, I would check that out for sure. He's right on the front page. Can't miss him.
I'm going to have to find that. I'm not on social media, so.
No, they do paper.
I know, but generally that's where I'd see stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So I'll have to find the magazine.
Yeah, I think I got my issue upstairs, so we can check it out at some point. But
absolutely, sounds good.
But yeah. So no, the New York Outdoor News is good. Speaking of other outdoor news, I know there is a show, and I'm blanking on the date for it. There's one coming to Stanley, New York, which is right down the road from me. Full Draw Outdoor Show, I think it is, or something like that. It's a brand new show. It's the first time they're doing it. I don't have any details on it. I'm so busy this year with clients and consulting all that stuff that I probably won't be there as a vendor. But I might go down and check it out, stuff like that.
Yeah, let me know. We'll go down.
Yeah, so it's pretty close by. And then this weekend, if you're watching this episode live or before, the upcoming weekend of, 27th?
Yep.
They have the Sportsman's Expo at the New York State Fair. So if you got your bow buck that you took or something like that, you want to go get it scored, the Northeast Big Buck Club will be there scoring. There's a lot of great events, a lot of good stuff for the kids. They got a trout pond for the kids, the dock dogs, that kind of stuff. So just some happenings going on in the outdoor landscape coming up with shows, because it is kind of show season.
Yep. And speaking of dock dogs, I want to give a happy birthday shout out to my dad, 54 today.
Happy birthday, Tim.
Birthday.
Absolutely.
Does love his duck dogs.
Yep.
Loves his duck dogs.
Yep. And likes a little bit of whiskey once in a while, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. So, well, happy birthday, Tim. Hopefully you're enjoying a nice beverage or celebrating or having dinner, whatever way you're doing. I think you said you guys are going to dinner this weekend.
No, we're cooking dinner at my parents' house on Sunday.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yep. We're all going to get together, watch the games, have dinner, because I had to work Saturday.
Gotcha.
So,
gotcha.
It'll be good to get together, have dinner. So,
for sure. Well,
so what's on your mind? What's in your soapbox? You got anything grinding your gears this week, today?
So something that I guess the one thing I'll say going toward the whiskey side of it, dude, is how crazy the market is and the markup for a lot of whiskeys right now. So that's something that just grinds my gears. And if anybody's into the whiskey or anything like that, or it's more whiskey, but I know it's like that with the wine market and other spirits too. But I can speak more on the whiskey side of it. As I go into some places and I see bottles marked up couple $100 over MSRP, which is crazy. Again, they're hard to find bottles. I do understand that, and I understand the store's got to make some money on it. But and that's why we always talk about a good local store like K&M. Mm-hmm. You're getting with fair market markup. Just for them marking it up for what they buy it from the distributor from, not like outrageous markup values.
Right.
You get it at basically the MSRP for the bottles on the shelf. So, and talk about a selection. I mean, a good amount of the wall behind me and the stuff on the floor next to you is from K&M, right over there in Newark. So,
if we're still shouting out local liquor stores, the liquor cabinet up in Williamson. It's about 10 minutes down the road from me.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing
That's your
selection.
Local one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We were just there this past weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, they got stuff, and I mean that's the thing too is there's a couple liquor stores I go to. K&M's my main go-to and stuff like that. But I'm always out there scouting and hunting and looking for other bottles that might not be here or might be sold out and stuff like that. That's where we found that single barrel, which is one I've been looking for a while. Mm-hmm. But I know as soon as it comes in, I'll probably buy one from K&M too.
Right.
So, and anytime I need a 10-year, I'm going to K&M to buy my Russell's 10. That McKenna we had last episode, that was a K&M. A lot of the bottles we had, I think I bought the Long Branch from K&M too. So yeah, they get a lot of business from me.
Yep. We also did both pick up a bottle of Jack 27.
I did. I found it was right around MSRP.
Do you have it here?
It's right down by the side of the fridge. The right side of the fridge.
Show that off to the.
Yeah, it's not really my flavor.
It's different,
but it's one that you don't see, and you don't see very much on MSRP, at least locally anyway.
So
in New York, but so if anybody is a Jack fan, I'm thinking about trading this bottle, and that's sometimes what I'll do too is pick some bottles up for the right price and look to trade them.
Yep.
You know, it's unopened. You were gracious enough to open up yours, so
beautifully packaged.
It's a gorgeous box. I mean, and sometimes you don't get the box with them and stuff like that either. But the Jack 27, it was good. It was right around MSRP. And again, it was in stock and available. Jake talked me into it, and I talked him into one too. So I can't say it was all him, but yeah, it'll probably be one that I'll trade on, and stuff like that because it just didn't knock me away. For my flavors that I like. Yep. Barb says, "Is that the gold?" Yep, that's the number 27 gold, Barb.
And it's felt lined. The box is lined with felt.
There is felt on it. Yeah, yeah. So it's nice packaging, But again, if anybody knows me, I'm a turkey guy. I like my Weller Special Reserve. One that we're gonna do probably on a fresh crack coming up is Blanton's. And there's a couple other ones, too, I want to do on a fresh crack. But this one, Jake, like I said, was gracious enough to let me try. It's kind of blocking my face. It's going off the bar. So, like I said, it just wasn't my flavor. It is the gold. It was a decent, a good buy at the price. But, again, one that you might see in another store. I haven't been looking for it right off, but it caught my eye. And I walked home with it. But I'll probably trade with it.
To be fair, honestly, it tastes a lot just like Jack Black Label.
It does in a lot of ways. I mean, it does have a little bit different woody component and stuff like that. If you're like a Jack fan or kind of a Jack collector and stuff like that, like if you like the single barrel, the Gentleman Jack, the bonded, triple mash, if you were lucky enough to get a Coy Hill, which that's even harder to find than that one, maybe you want that one for your set, something like that. I think it's a good one. It definitely is a little different than old number 7.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a lot of similarities. And like I said, the thing that kind of walked me into it, too, is my birth date's the 27th. So that I'm a sucker for a story and a connection with whiskey. So,
and we both agree that it does taste a little bit like Honey Jack.
Yeah, it's got some, some sweetness to it, which most Jack does.
Yeah.
But you definitely get a little bit more of the wood. And again, for what it is, I would have liked to seen it be a little bit more higher proof stuff, like the bonded or the single barrel. You get a little bit higher proof point, and I think that's where I enjoy the Jack better. I didn't know the proof point on it when I bought it, so I think it's really only an 80 proof bottle.
I mean, for being a 27, and some people regard it as the best Jack.
Yeah, it's 80 proof.
I'd honestly. I get to see myself just end up mixing it with Coke and.
Well, save it for something special.
Yeah, I mean it's not something that's.
Or whiskey is meant to be drank. Yeah. I mean, at some point, everything here will be drank, with the exception of those batch ones from Black Button, because that was mine and my wife's first date kind of thing.
Right.
So one of those will probably stay, and she gave me one for our wedding. So, but yeah, other than that, everything at this bar will get drank at some point. No matter how old it is, cool it is, story it is, etc. And I've been fortunate enough to find some nice bottles, and again, I've been, good enough to walk away from bottles too that one were overpriced, even if it was one I've been hunting for,
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is K&M is such a hard store to walk out of because the prices are so good.
I've never been in. You're gonna have to take me for my first time.
Yeah. Yeah, you off tomorrow? I got to go in and talk to Barb tomorrow anyway.
What am I doing tomorrow? I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow.
My wife says the only secret. Oh, yeah. So when she gave me that bottle, that was the only secret she said she's ever kept from me is when she found that Black Button batch 1.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, she kept that a secret. I forget where she found it. It was some small liquor store. The thing still had dust on it when she gave it to me.
Was it the Lions liquor store?
I don't know where it was. I don't think they carry Black Button right off. But
I haven't been
speaking
there
of that,
forever.
I found Old Tub in there the other day for dirt cheap. At
Really?
the Lions liquor. I bought the only one they had, so good luck finding another one. But it was dusty, dude. I mean, like certified dusty. But it was only
boy.
$17. You know?
No shit.
So, you know.
We love to swear. This is
Yeah,
kid-friendly one?
no, I put it so it's not appropriate for children.
Oh, okay.
Because of the hunting. If you reference anything for hunting and you say it's safe for kids, YouTube will flag it.
We're not going
to get into the politics side of it. So anyway, what else has been grinding your gears, Jake?
Partially, well, mainly that.
Okay. That's fair.
We were talking about earlier. We both listened to a similar podcast, the Hunter podcast, the guys out of Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go, David. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, he got hooked up with that from listening to the podcast. And I would venture to say it's probably his favorite store, now, other than, when his, wife sees the credit card statement. But my wife doesn't see mine, so I'm right in that same ballpark with you, Dave. I definitely have a sweet tooth when it comes to going to K&M because of what they have on the shelf and what's available, for sure.
Oh, here's the Infinity bottle.
This is the Infinity taste. So this one, again, so the other one got a chance to mix for 20 weeks. Okay. So this one was obviously fresh mixed last week. So I don't think you'll get as good of a blend. Dave says he'll be there again tomorrow. Of course he'll be there again tomorrow. He's got business in town on Thursdays. That's why he comes. So
pleasure in business. I like it, David.
Yep, absolutely. So nice little half-ounce pour out of the jigger. I like that jigger. That's one I got this year with got one of those Knob Creek holiday packs. They had it marked down to like $20 for the bottle and the jigger and glasses.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
So like $23.
Hey,
bottle is normally $30.
You can't argue it.
No.
Can't argue that.
And again, I didn't have a jigger for the bar down here, so that's what I ended up putting in there. So you got an ounce and a half, half ounce, 3/4 ounce, etc. But I mean, you could smell because I just put the apple in today because I ran out of apple. That was the only ingredient we ran out of. So again, this isn't quite a fair taste because we haven't let it sit for 20 weeks. 4 or 5 months mixing and mingling together.
So I know the first bottle was 20, but for the second bottle, can we give it away on episode 50? Let it sit an extra 10 weeks?
We're going to run out of space.
Will we?
Yeah. Unless we sample as we go with it.
We could, and we could just build up the hype.
Or we could do half-ounce additives. I mean, it's all relative. Ooh, Barb says, got new bourbons coming in tomorrow. Some won't be until Friday. Oh, boy, Barb. I wonder if they're the ones that me and Mark were talking about ordering the other day. I apologize for this, Barb. But Mark and me went on a little bit of a tangent searching bourbons the other day and whiskeys. Again, finding some stuff, dude, that I have not seen on shelves in a couple months. And stuff that they could get in. So, and they always got good bourbon selection over there. And like I said, I look forward to checking it out tomorrow. But mostly talking to Barb and catching up before they go away on vacation. So,
well, I'm not working Friday night, and if they're getting more on Friday,
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I was in. When did I see Mark? I was in there this past weekend. I saw Mark and Courtney when I was in there this past weekend.
Did you just get him put in the doghouse?
I don't know. I hope not. Sorry, Mark. Sorry, Mark. This is a live show. It's a public show.
This one's for Mark if he's in the doghouse.
This one's for Mark, even though he doesn't drink his bourbon collection.
More power to him.
Yeah, that's self-control that I don't have.
That is much better self-control than me.
That has not mingled yet. Not bad, but that's not what you got with that last bottle.
I don't even know how to.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it, but I don't know how to.
It does not. It's still not blended like the other one, and that's what they say for blends is letting them sit, letting them soak, and working together.
Right.
A lot of caramel, like way more caramel than the other one had.
You can taste the apple on the very back end, the aftertaste.
Yeah, again, that one went in the top today, and I've been shaking it, but
you kind of get that
the fruitiness,
the sour fruity almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but no, the Infinity is a good one, and that's one that, like I said, we'll just let it marinate, and we'll see what it tastes like come party time. And it does smell way fruitier than the other one too.
Yeah.
So with the other one, we drank it like I don't know, like episode 7 or 8, something like that. Me and Nate tried like a little half-ounce pour out of it, and then that's one that we were really, same thing. It was there. You could taste pieces of it, but it wasn't mixed and blended yet. And then the finished product, when we had to, mix it in and then drink it down a little bit so we could fit the McKenna in it. Because it filled it up to just about the cork with the Infinity bottle we did. And then me and Nate took the sip off of it last week and put the ounce in there after we added the McKenna and gave it a good shake or two. That was a really, really nice blended Infinity bottle. So, and I'll probably do some other ones and mix up a few as I get some empty bottles throughout the year. And that's what, like I said, we started Infinity Bottle 2 with, was a good 1.5 ounce pour out of the original Infinity. So that's what it really tastes like, but I can't give you that.
So call me crazy.
Okay.
What if the third Infinity bottle is let's go full Magnum bottle?
Oh, like a 175?
Like a 175.
Yeah, we could. I got an empty 175 of Bird Dog down there.
Now, do you think you could get, how many weeks do you think you can get out of that?
So it was about 20 with 1.5 ounce pours, which again we sampled on it partway through and stuff like that. So probably get closer to 30
weeks,
something like that, which will probably just about bring us around to when we started the podcast, because that'll be 20 to 30. It'd be right around episode, would be 52, would be a full year of podcasts. So
yeah,
that'd probably get us to about episode 50. And then maybe give it away on the anniversary. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll transfer it into a handle bottle and do it that way.
I think that'd be cool.
And then give it away at the 1 year show. I think that'd be kind of cool. Again, can't promise that the Magnum's going to be good, but I mean, you never know. We got plenty of whiskeys to make it rock, but
we won't doctor it, but
yep. So yeah, and we'll probably do it like we did last time with a live giveaway. We got to comment in on the delivery show or the giveaway show to get in on it and enter it. But I don't know, man. It just needs more blend time to get. I could see the pieces that come together from the other bottle, but it just needs the time to mix together and blend up. Barb commented back in, said, "Not an issue. I trust your picks." I appreciate that.
You have good taste in whiskey.
Yeah,
I'd say you do. I
appreciate that.
I approve.
I appreciate that. There is
coming from the guy that drinks a shit ton of Jameson.
I know you're an Irish whiskey guy. I'm not a big. I only think, actually, I don't have an Irish whiskey here. I know how bad that sounds right now.
I will say,
but I don't.
For anyone that does really like Jameson, if you have not tried the Jameson Black Barrel, that is a very good whiskey.
Yeah, it was empty when we went to try it at your house.
Yeah, I know.
Yep. So
I will say that if I'm going to drink Jameson on the rocks, it's going to be Black Barrel, but I'll also mix it too.
They probably got it at K&M because you need a bottle now.
Yeah,
because you're out.
No, yeah. Well, I know where I'll be on Friday.
That would be a good place to be. I'm sure Nick or Courtney or one of them would be there and be able to help you out.
They would happily sell me a bottle of Black Barrel.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And again, if anybody is tuning into this, when you go to K&M, tell them that the podcast sent you. And, they always like hearing it, and we like hearing it when they say, hey, another person from the podcast stopped in, another person from the podcast stopped in, or this person came and said, Bart says a gift packs.
All right, I'm in. I'm in.
There you go, buddy.
Got me sold.
Yep. Barb will take care of you. And if they don't got it and can get it, they'll probably order it in for you too. And again, like we say,
you're an angel, Barb. Absolutely an angel.
She's definitely one of a kind, and one I'm thankful to have as my go-to store owner for sure. Her, Mark, everybody over there, Nick, Courtney, they're all really good people. Can't say enough about it. And it comes with 2 rocks glasses.
Perfect.
You're sold.
I'm in. You don't got to twist my arm very hard.
You want me to take your money, get it tomorrow for you, make sure they don't sell out of them? But no, we can't say enough about Barb and K&M and everything over there. They're good folks, good people, and damn best prices around. You can't beat them. And the selection, I would say the best selection around, maybe outside of Ryan's, but I because they got the case and then they got the wall. So it's not just, a wall. They got the case too. So, I mean, maybe by total number of bottles, but I think by quality bottles, I would have to probably give it to K&M over Ryan's. Number of bottles, I mean, if you start looking at like the Jim Beam White Label, and they got it all too over there, but it's got to be close. It really does. But I go on quality and pricing. I'm going K&M.
Well, I'm excited to get
and
there.
good and personable people to deal with. It's not like Ryan's where you go in there, you see 10 different people, you go in there 9 different times.
Well, I'm excited for Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Barb, I hope you're working on Friday.
Going on vacation.
Oh,
you have to see Nick or Courtney.
All right. Well, either way, I'm looking forward to coming into the store and
they'll point you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
They'll point you toward the case. Be like, there, over there. There's something in that case that you'll like for sure. What ones can you find there right now? Well, again, I don't know. I haven't been in there this week. Some stuff, it goes because if people find it in there, like me, it goes. Oh, this one. This is one that was a gem in there the other day. Because I haven't seen it all year. Pikesville straight rye. Haven't cracked it yet. I've tried this before. It's a heck of a rye. 6-year-old rye. This one's made by Heaven Hill. And this is, I would probably say, top 3 ryes I've ever had.
I promise we're not.
No, not at all.
No,
not at all. But this one, and this was the last one. So good luck finding it. Because I haven't been able to find it all year. And I walked in there, saw they still had one of them. And I grabbed that Pikesville rye. 110, it's a great proof point. A lot of flavor. And I'm a Heaven Hill guy. Turkey guy, too, are kind of my 2 flavors I gravitate to. And some Jim Beam stuff. I do like my knobs, Knob Creeks and all that stuff, too. But, and the granddads.
Mm-hmm.
But no, dude, we're finding out that Nate is turned into a little bit of a whiskey guy now, too.
Yeah.
Yep. His Blade and Bow, that's his go-to. That's his favorite one. That's the old Stitzel Weller distillery. And had to put a new one on the bar because we finished it the other day.
I will say I've always been a whiskey guy. I've always enjoyed a good whiskey. It's just, generally I didn't really drink whiskey unless, we were getting together and something really to celebrate or because generally when we hang out, it's, hey, you want a beer?
Yep. And again, summertime, stuff like that.
Right.
I do like my beer for sure. But, this winter months, all that stuff, I like my whiskeys and my bourbons, man.
Warms you up when it's 10 degrees outside.
Yeah. But
I tell you what, having the whiskey tonight after working all day, coming home.
Snow.
Yeah, the moment I got home, I was in the Kubota plowing for hour and a half.
Yep.
Got done, took the garbage out, and then came right here.
Yep. But no. Yeah, again, I mean, the Long Branch, we talked about that at the beginning of the show. It's good. It's all right. I would only give it 1 all right out of 3.
I'd give it...
Give it 2?
All.
Oh, going cold. So see that Russell's 10, that's all right.
Right. So
And the 101's all right. But this one just, it kind of falls short. I think it's the smoke.
in the
I
rare,
think it's the smoke.
yeah. But I mean, let's be honest, a rare breed.
That's all right, all day. And probably all all.
Yeah.
The only other one that I haven't cracked yet, haven't tried yet. Well, there's two up there. There's the Kentucky Spirit, which has got to get cracked. I got a couple fresh crack Fridays. Probably gonna go on a turkey marathon. Single barrel, Russell's. The 13 is I'm saving for my birthday. That one I'm full committed to saving for my birthday. And then the Kentucky Spirit, I do have one of them up there that I found that was bottled just before my birthday, which is cool. But
It's like me personally. I've always been a turkey and buffalo guy.
Mm-hmm.
Always have been, probably always will be.
I wonder if you'd like, and this one's not going in the infinity, at least not tonight. But throw that ice cube out. Put it in your other glass.
Where's the other glass?
I'm curious to see. It's right there on the bar. I'm curious what you think of this one. I've tried to get into it. It's just not my flavor. Well, not my, really good go-to flavor.
What are we doing?
This is one of my better bottles I found this year. This is an E.H. Taylor single barrel. Harder to find bottle I found this year. And just give you a little taste out of it, see what you think. So I like the small batch over the single barrel. Just me. I've had both. Could be that this barrel is just a little bit different than the other single barrel I've had. But good bottles, but you got to find them. And I would prefer the small batch because of the uniformity and the consistent taste. The single barrels, you're going to get some variety with them, which can be very good. I'm not saying it's a bad bottle. It's just not a bottle that I would go out and hunt. I would rather take a small batch E.H. Taylor over a single barrel, because of the flavors I get with it. Mm-hmm. So I'll try it again. I mean, I've got it down past the shoulder now, so I'm trying, and it's better than it was when I first cracked it. I think for the flavor wise, but let me know what you think. If you like the Buffalo line, I mean, this will be right up your alley with it. So, unfortunately, this one won't be in the infinity.
It's got some.
Would you drink it like a shot? You hit it too hard?
It might have, yeah, definitely. It's got a little bit of a bite on the back end.
It does. A little bit more than I think the small batch has. This one's a lot more dark fruit, tobacco, leather.
I can taste
wood.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. It's just not what you're expecting from. That's not your Buffalo Trace.
That's not bad, but it's not my glass of whiskey.
Yep. It's good. I think that a cold winter day, like coming in out of the cold, you might reach for that leather, tobacco. And if somebody really likes that, I'll probably keep that bottle for that. Like I said, it's just not really my everyday kind of flavor.
I mean, if we're reaching for tobacco, me personally, it's going to be a tin form.
Yeah, I hear you. But it's one that, I think it's good. I do see, value in the pour. But again, not one I'm going to chase. I'd rather look for a small batch one just because of the uniform taste. You don't quite get as much tobacco and leather. You get a lot more dark fruit, though, I've found with the small batches over the single barrel. So it's just been my kind of experience with it. But they're good bottles when you can find them. You used to be able to find them. And again, you probably could still find them in some stores for crazy money, like we talk about. Like that's probably only an MSRP 80, maybe 90 for the single barrel. Secondary market, I mean, you guys probably could Google it up, but probably going to be north of $200, for secondary, if not maybe more, I would think, for a single barrel. And then the small batch, I think, only retails for like 40 or 45. So, but try to find it for that.
Right.
In New York. I mean, in some other states, you might be able to find it. For, you get down Ohio, Kentucky, maybe in some spots. Nice stores down there that could take care of them, that have better distribution. Stores like K&M, but in a different state.
Right.
That can get the distribution of bottles like that. So, but I like it. It's just it's not an everyday kind of one for me. But that one will be available on the for my birthday party in July. That'll be available for people who want to try it. But
let's
check the YouTube. Nothing coming on the YouTube. Actually, nobody's tuned in on the YouTube tonight, which is very weird. It's odd. And then nothing on the Bullhorn app. So
really?
So what was this soapbox? You kept saying soapbox before we started. What's your soapbox that Jake's got to get on tonight? Come on, let's hear it.
It's something that I can relate to, and a lot with me not having social media. So like I was saying, we listen to the Same Hunter podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought up the really good point of what social media has honestly done to hunting in today's light. So my own example. So when you're listening to the podcast, they mention, oh, hey, I saw you shot a nice 8-point, but you didn't post it on social media.
Hmm.
And then you also have the people that start off with, oh, he's not the biggest, but...
Okay.
And I don't know if this is because I also work in the hunting industry for a living.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's because I do see it a lot.
Okay.
But like the buck I shot last year, the spike buck.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the look on my face, how excited I was.
Yeah, it was there. It was there for the pictures.
You were there
and
for
the
everything.
video, everything.
Mm-hmm. The reason I didn't post it on social media was because I honestly, truly don't give a shit what anyone else has to say.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Because my dad and my best friend were there for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't ask for anything more. And to be honest, it kind of hurts almost that people that, shoot bigger deer than a spike are still having to say he's not the biggest. But, and I
shouldn't even have to defend the spike.
Exactly. And I don't know if that's because of our society today, but it definitely is something that does bother me, whether it was the podcast that just set me off today about it or...
Gotcha.
But I mean, it's something I've also thought for a while. And I will say that not having social media personally, it's great.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely, see that or whatever. People think they got to justify it, but, you don't. I mean, you were in my office before we started the podcast up tonight. And, I mean, you look on the client picture walls, yeah, there's been some big deer, but there's been, there's spikes up there, there's forkhorns up there and stuff like that, kids' first deer, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Biggest buck they've ever seen on the property, and it's, some 2.5-year-old just because, that's the best buck they have in the neighborhood, and that's the one they killed. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Dude,
so
more power to them.
God bless you, shoot the spike, as Jesse would say.
Absolutely. That spike gets your heart pumping. I want you to run an arrow directly through the center of his lungs.
Absolutely, dude. I don't knock or judge or do anything like that. Again, I will say that I was guilty of it probably right in high school when I was younger and stuff like that. I thought every deer belonged to me, everything like that. Now it's to the point where there'll be more next year. There'll be other bucks. There's always going to be a bigger buck.
I mean,
there's always going to be, another one to chase or go after. So,
well, we just had this talk earlier when I mentioned the deer I was chasing.
Mm-hmm.
There's also 2 other people that own property that butt up next to the property I had permission on.
Yep.
I know they were chasing that deer because
you
saw him. He was an absolute beauty.
Oh, yeah.
He was a very mature deer.
Mm-hmm.
And if they did shoot him, and I don't know,
yep,
congratulations, because he is an absolute stud.
Yep. Yeah, been there, done that. This year, I mean, I think Larry went down. Well, 2 of the 3 Stooges. Curly made it. So he can't complain there. However, we'll see. Me and Nate talked a little bit about Curly last episode. We'll see if he ends up being top dog now, because he's always been a subordinate buck. He's always been in the upper age, but a subordinate buck doesn't fight. Here's rutting and chasing activity. I've literally seen him tuck tail and walk and almost run the other direction, which is kind of puzzling.
Advantage, though.
Well, it could. But he also keeps to himself. He pockets up in really small areas historically, but now that the age class slate has been about wiped clean, every mature buck we had for the most part is gone.
Curly's going to be what, 5 this year?
Curly would be 5 this year, I believe. 5, maybe 6. So I'm pretty sure 5.
Generally, looking at New York and all whitetails, he is going to be hitting peak maturity this year.
Pretty close, yeah. For somewhere between 4 and 7 is when they're going to grow their biggest set of antlers.
So we'll give him, he's going to be peak this year, just law of averages.
Yep.
So if he's been subordinate for so many years, generally that characteristic, I could probably see that staying. I don't see that just instantly going away, even though he is going to be the oldest deer. Because, we all have our personalities.
Mm-hmm. And there's good 3-year-olds and stuff like that are going to be around. 2 and 3-year-old crop is pretty decent. A lot of 2-year-olds, though. A lot of 2-year-olds. So
that's not a bad problem to have.
No, it's not a bad problem to have. Absolutely. But, and again, that's just, one piece of property. There's other properties I got where I know I've got a couple shooters,
right?
Mixed up into the mix that made it through, or I got cameras soaking right now and I got to go check them and see if one's made it through.
Right.
But that's the thing with the bucks is you're going to pull cameras and cards, dude, and you're going to look at them and go, where the heck did that deer come from? Yeah. I have a couple this year that I don't know what deer they are or where they came from or who they are. It happens every year. Some of them come around, stick around, stay. Other ones, you might get 2 pictures of them and then never see them ever again.
I had that with the mule.
Yeah,
I had
absolutely
3 pictures of him and then gone forever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I saw him twice before the beginning of the season, once 6 days after season, came through with half his rack broken off at 2 o'clock in the morning. No idea what happened to him.
Yep. And actually there's one that it's funny. And 2 of my properties I get back and forth deer between. I had one that I was calling Philip, who, if anybody is familiar with Greek history, was the father of Alexander the Great, who only had one eye. So the one-eyed buck got named Philip. Just happened to be. So Philip, I didn't have any pictures of him this year, at the one property because it's pretty distinctive. He's got one eye. So the thing with Philip was, and again, it's not 100%. They don't have ear tags or whatever. But a property just a couple miles away, same buck, should be the same age class, shows up over there with one eye. And it's the same eye. So, is it or isn't it? It's tough to say, but the age lines up.
If the age lines up, the proximity lines up,
it's not out of the question for 2-3 miles, maybe.
Is the crow flies 3 miles at most.
Yeah.
So, honestly, given what we do know about whitetails.
And historically, I've had deer on both properties before as well. Actually, bottom 9 was on both farms this year, too.
Really? I did not know bottom 9 was on both.
Yeah, only 2 pictures on the one farm, and then I haven't seen him again since November, but at the rate he's going, he could end up way to the north, way to the south. You don't know where the heck he ended up in between. Or he might have got shot.
So because I know both farms, we'll just say east or west farm, did he show up that kind of threw you off?
Oh, the east.
The east threw you off the most?
Yeah, because that was just the 2 pictures. I'm going through pictures. I'm just like, wait a minute. I know that deer.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked to see what the picture span was between the differences. But I know on the one property, the West Farm or whatever you want to call it, that one, he disappeared. I think it was like November 2nd.
Well, see,
was my last picture of him.
Yeah, I know bottom 9 from the West Farm.
Yep.
But I also
he's been a well-known one. He got scabbed by a neighbor. He made it. We tracked him all over God's good earth. I didn't think he was going to make it through the season, and then he showed up, and then he showed back up this year. And I was like, oh, that's he was one that was on the list. He's still over there on the board because
Yeah.
we haven't found him, dead or otherwise yet. But he's definitely a good buck.
Well, I mean, like,
Be a nice one to make it on either farm if he slots into either, or who knows, he might slot in on a different farm. He might have had enough of the competition, and I don't know. You never know, dude.
No, you never know, and that's the beauty of it.
And how many pieces are between those two farms? How many hunters? So it's possible that he's sitting at somebody's taxidermist right now, and I don't know. Because there's a lot of people in between the farms that I don't talk to all that much, so it's possible. But I was looking at the pictures and I'm like, no freaking way. So there he is.
Give me one moment.
Oh, gotta go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'll catch up on a couple comments while you're heading up. Chris says, what are we pouring tonight? Tonight we poured the Wild Turkey Long Branch collaboration with Matthew McConaughey, which, fun fact, is also the only time a signature has been put on a bottle other than a Russell in the last probably 30, 40 years at least. So that's what we are drinking tonight, is the Long Branch, and we drank it like McConaughey likes it, over ice. I think it tones down that smoke a little bit because it's a little smoky for me. Kind of reminds me of some scotches with the smoke, but it's a different smoke because of the mesquite wood that they do it with. So that's what we poured tonight, Chris, was the Long Branch. And if you haven't found one of these yet, like we said earlier in the episode, Matt McConaughey and Wild Turkey did not renew their contract for, I forget what he was, development or something, was his chief development officer or something like that, for branding and stuff like that for the brand. They signed like 5-6 years ago, something like that, and came up with the Long Branch idea. They've since parted ways or not renewed contracts. So this bottle will be, I don't know if they'll be discontinuing it. I'm sure they got a bunch of juice for it, which might go into 101, other stuff, based on flavor profiles and stuff like that. Or they might just strike his name off of it and keep it going. He might take the recipe with him. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how it shakes out. But I have this bottle, and I think one other unopened one down there at the bottom that I picked up the other day. And you can get these, like we said, for $36, $38 usually on the shelf. So I'm right around 40. But like we said too, if I'm spending $40, I'm probably going to grab a Russell's 10, which has been my daily pour. But I'll do another of the Long Branch tonight. So I was seeing if there was an age statement on this, but I don't see one right off. But yeah, they filter it with that mesquite, and you definitely get a lot of smoke with it, and a lot of that barbecue kind of smoke. But again, a simple, easy-going sipper, and a beautiful bottle. I mean, the bottle I think Wild Turkey should hang on to for a different release or whatever. I know the old Kentucky Spirit bottle was a really pretty one too. I would like to see something with that bottle because it is such a unique bottle, going forward. I mean, I like the rare breed bottles. The old Kentucky Spirit was a turkey fan, which was really, really cool. I don't have one of those. My first Kentucky Spirit is that one, which will be probably on a Fresh Crack Friday coming up for the podcast. But yeah, no, it's real. I mean, you can smell that turkey kind of spice, everything like that. You really just don't get the smoke until you taste it. And when you taste it, there's nothing really like it with that mesquite smoke. So, that's just kind of how it is. But yeah, so that's what we are pouring tonight. We also did have a sample out of the E.H. Taylor single barrel. We had a small pour out of that. We had a small pour out of the old Infinity bottle. So yeah, we tried a couple different things tonight, and we'll be adding to the Infinity bottle. We're talking about doing it a handle and giving it away for the 1 year episode. But so yeah, so the grinding the gears thing tonight was on, kind of hunter shaming, that kind of stuff. And there's no place for it, dude. There's no reason for it.
No, and I mean,
like, you're going to be an online troll over it, But
And I mean, we're already a very small community. I know they say hunter numbers have been growing because of COVID, but at the same time,
and the 10 years still dropping.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And if we just continue to shame each other and have these divides, because I mean, like it's talked about in every other podcast, compound hunters going to shame crossbow guys.
Oh yeah.
Recurve guys are going to shame compound guys.
Yeah.
And then all bow hunters are just going to shame gun hunters. And it's just a never-ending cycle.
Yeah, it can seem that way. And like I said, I don't think there's any reason or point to it. You know, like I said, you're just gonna argue for arguing's sake. Like, what's the point with that?
Right.
There's no reason to. And that's where, with doing the whiskey stuff and blending it with the whitetails, Bourbon Real Talk is one that I listen to a lot. And they finish every show by saying that, these people, have no reason to hate you, but they still hate you. And at the end of it, he wants to bring it back together and be like, but there's also no reason that says I can't be kind to you. I can't, say that, I love you, I care about you, that kind of stuff.
Right.
You can give just as much love as you can hate. And either one doesn't cost a single thing.
No, it doesn't.
Literally. So, I think that's the takeaway from it is, it costs just as much energy or keyboard typing to give positive reinforcement rather than negative. Rather than I should have given him another year. It would have been like, dude, it's an awesome buck. Congratulations. What's the story?
Absolutely. And the other part was we had this, we're not going to say names, but we had a Timothy absolutely agree.
Yep. If it's one you want to shoot, every deer is a trophy no matter size. 100%. Agree with it.
I'll drink to that.
Mm-hmm.
Our group text.
Okay.
Where you and I had this discussion the other day. We both feel the same way about a certain topic, that people who are familiar with the hunting industry or keep up on quote-unquote influencers in the industry, they'll know exactly what we're talking about with the news that has broken in the last 2-3 weeks. I think we can agree on that with poaching and everything like that.
And just not legal harvesting a game, etc. Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure everyone in the comments will agree that if you're going to go hunt in another state, it is absolutely on your responsibility to know the laws and regulations of what that state requires, says you have to do, whether it's shooting time, how it's shot, broadhead,
weapon, season, etc.
Like Idaho just changed. Derek, hope you're in here.
Yeah, he might be out ice fishing. I know they got good ice out in Idaho. So he might be out on the ice somewhere.
Oh, well, Derek, if you're listening, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can now use expandables and lighted nocks in Idaho, correct?
That's new, because I know Idaho and like Montana, a lot of those far west states of the Rockies have very strict guidelines.
You couldn't use expandables. You couldn't use lighted nocks.
In some of those states, you couldn't even use glass on top of your muzzleloader. And it had to be side lock. It couldn't be an inline.
I think I did see that in a Meat Eater episode.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in some of those western states for limiting of weapons and type of weapons, which, again, like you said, as a hunter, and even in New York, it's your job to know the regulations book, know your legal shooting time start and legal shooting time stop, your bag limit, what you can and can't do. And we talk about this every year, and I still find people comment in, send me messages and be like, are you serious? Your regular season buck tag, if you haven't used it, turns into an either sex tag if you have your muzzleloader privilege at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's in the book.
Well, a lot of people didn't know you can use your doe permit, your DMPs, during bow season.
You can use them during bow, gun season, late season. Yep.
Well, I think a lot of that, I mean, that might be an easy one that people don't always understand, because you will see, like, what are we always targeting during bow season, because we know they're the most patternable bucks. generally you don't see a lot of people, men or women, boys, girls, whether you're a new hunter, old hunter, shooting does during bow season, unless it's either that bow season or early antlerless season in September, or because most people start filling doe tags last 2 weeks of gun season.
I think people actually take them throughout. And actually, this will be the. I'll have to check my tags. This is probably the first time in 10 years I didn't shoot a doe.
Really?
I didn't shoot a doe this year. Just the $2.
I could have sworn you shot a doe this year.
Just the $2. Just the $2.
I was saying, because generally.
But again, that was property specific.
Right.
And like we talk about too, just because you have a tag doesn't mean you have to fill a tag necessarily either. So our rule is doe groups of 5 or more, you drop the score. Kind of the reverse from the schoolhouse rhyme.
Okay, I like it.
So when you have doe groups of 5 or more, you take one out of it. I just didn't see big doe groups because I like to segment and fragment my doe groups and knock them down in sizes. So that's why, I like that 5 or more thing. And it could be property specific. It could be that you knock it down to 4 or 6 or whatever number you decide to go with it. 5 or more just kind of rhymed and it fit. And I've seen a lot of success with it. And I think, we only took 2 does or 3 does this year off of the one farm. And then the other one, we didn't take a single one just because we didn't see the numbers together.
That was the East Farm.
Yeah, the East Farm, we didn't take a single one just because we didn't have the doe numbers over there in groups like that. Or have them in range or have a good shot for the weapon. Obviously that comes into,
that's a huge
your ethics as a hunter with it.
And the other thing I've noticed too is it seems to be like with some states, for example, like Iowa, I know in certain counties, they have a strict limit of doe tags they give out, and people get on at midnight and they will crash the system to get their doe tags. We're here in New York. You can pretty much go and get 4 doe tags. You can get your first round and second round.
For our region that we're in, yeah.
And I wonder, how are they truly basing these numbers? Are they doing, helicopter thermals at night to get a good deer count, or are they just going off of tags that were called in? Because then again, how many tags aren't called in? Yeah,
so me and Nate got into this rabbit hole, and I think it's one that's a good one for future episodes. So they use the reported harvest data, they use deer check stations and processor check stations, and based on the number of deer harvested on opening day, that goes in a formula with the does to project harvest. Now, and they break it down to a county level or a region level mostly for like 8F, 8J. We'll just use those because that's what we hunt in. And then they put that in, project it on a graph, and see if they need to give out more or give out less. Or, like we talk about, to keep that population consistent, we'll just use 10 does as an example, you need to take 30% just to keep 10 does in a population with normal fawn recruitment and normal predator rates. So to keep 10 does on a property, you got to take 3 of those 10 to have 10 next year. If you take less than that, you will grow the population. Right. So if you want to drop it, obviously you take more. If you have a hard winter, stuff like that, that's why we shoot for the 5 or more in a group and target more specific doe groups to break up those large, expansive numbers, because we have seen doe groups of 20 way back. We don't see that anymore as much. In late season, they group up a little bit on, high value food, but that's a little different.
Late season, it's really hard.
Yeah, and we ran out of freezer space.
Number. Right.
I mean, we shot 4 mature bucks this year, so freezer space was kind of limited. And then my dad also shot a doe too.
So going back to what you and I were talking about before we went live on the podcast, when I went and pulled cameras this past weekend and I was flipping through pictures, I had 2 huge coyotes, but that necessarily doesn't play a factor into this part. I have a picture with 13 does, whether it's mostly yearlings, Yeah.
So that's where I tell people that, it's okay to shoot a doe to break up those groups.
Mm-hmm.
If you also, I tell people that maybe it won't be the best idea if you have 10, 15 acre property and you're seeing 3 or 4 does, might not be the best idea to shoot a doe out of that.
Right.
Maybe a state land piece where you don't have as much control and stuff like that, or you can, and this is what I found in the past too, is setting a specific doe number.
Mm-hmm.
We got to shoot 5 does. What happens is you start shooting them early, you put a lot of pressure on your property, you push a lot of deer off your property by going in and recovering those deer, and you do more harm than good, and your neighbors kill more deer because of it. That's why I found this 5 or more rule is really effective, where you can take them when you need them. Obviously, we lay off for, pre-rut and rut. But then late season on food, it's very easy to take a couple if we need them for the freezer or if we want specialty stuff done. I'm getting my summer sausage recipe just about where I want it. That's what we were talking about last episode too.
And that is very good.
Yeah.
I've tried it, and it is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I need to get my high temp cheese and finish it off. But yeah, so that's the thing with does is you got to look at your property and not your tag total, meaning you obviously have to be legal and harvest the deer where you have an appropriate tag for it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But just because you have 4 tags doesn't mean you should shoot them. I mean, I have all 4 doe tags. I didn't punch a single one. Well, 5 doe tags technically, because I got my extra antlerless.
Yep.
That I didn't use. So I had 5 doe tags this year and I didn't punch a single one of them. Didn't need to. Freezer's full. Didn't see the big doe groups.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one night we sat together, we saw a group of 5 does, but
just couldn't have a shot opportunity.
They were going mock Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know if they got spooked by a neighboring property or a coyote or a buck maybe bumped them. I don't know what it was, but we just didn't have the shot opportunity. Right. And again, we were looking to take one. You were getting down on the gun and ready, but we just couldn't. They were on pins and needles for whatever reason.
And so also going back to the whole coyote thing, and is it too early to start talking turkeys?
I think next episode we're going to talk more turkey and going forward with it. For sure.
Can we dive into it a little bit?
Okay, sure.
So everyone always wants to talk about, I believe there's one state, it's either Michigan or Wisconsin, where they were allowing people to shoot as many fall turkeys as you want. And
don't know.
The meat eater, they dived into this and talked, and essentially you're going to destroy your turkey numbers doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I counted 16 turkeys in one flock this fall. But
which is a small number.
Right. Come springtime,
mm-hmm.
I don't see as many, but driving back and forth between my house and my parents, and then, literally driving in between your east and west farm,
mm-hmm.
I think I counted 30 turkeys one night in a field off the side of the road.
Which, again, historically, dude, is not normal. We used to have flocks over 100
mm-hmm.
in the fall and winter, based on certain properties. So if you look at that sheer number alone, and again, that's going to vary winter to winter severity, but we used to have, not uncommon to see 80, 90 birds in the winter, and 30 isn't that many birds, because in the wintertime they do flock up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, they do.
You do see some outlier groups of Toms and Jakes, but when you see mixed flocks of that few a number historically, when it used to be a lot more, like I said, man, it was nothing to go around in the right fields and areas around some of the areas we hunt and see 80, 90 birds in a winter.
So then,
together.
This all then comes back to the next question of, because of the fur market, and we don't see a large number of trapping, mm-hmm. because the prices aren't there, so people aren't going to go out and put in that hard effort to trap your raccoons,
mm-hmm.
mink, coyotes, anything like that. Like my brother-in-law, he's been doing a little bit of trapping, and he's been doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing absolutely great with it. And do you think that because of the fur price being down, we're not seeing as many turkeys.
It's a compounded factor. I think personally, I think it's fur prices. One, trapping is labeled as evil, and it's not as normal as it used to be. Like, I mean, back in high school, I was probably one of the only ones trapping.
Mm-hmm. Like
literally before school, running trap line and stuff like that.
And I remember going out and checking traps with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
That was something we did a lot.
But again,
when you and I were in high school together.
there was good money in it too back then. Like, I say this jokingly now, but in reality, trapping paid for my college books all through college.
Well, and that's when you could get $20 to $30 a beaver, if not more.
No, it's $20, $30 a coon, dude. At some of those times, we were getting like $20 a raccoon. I was picking them up on the side of the road going to and from school and putting them in the back of my Pontiac.
The Pontiac.
In the Pontiac, yeah, exactly.
The good old days. We actually had to talk about the Pontiac and taking that back and forth to football practice this past weekend.
Yep. But no, so I think it's a lack of trapping, lack of predator control as a whole, habitat loss, hedgerows, old fields, brush lots, etc., nesting, brooding habitat for those bird species. We're using turkeys as this example. I think those are the biggest thing. Habitat loss, I think, is number one. And then I think hunter numbers, more people getting into turkey hunting, and then the lack of birds has also played into it. And then you can put environmental factors also as a miscellaneous effect of that. But you get out eastern side of the state and foothills of the Adirondacks, the turkey numbers have never been better. You get out east of here. Maybe that's hunter density. Maybe that's the habitat's still a little bit better, But I think at least where we are, habitat's taken a big hit in the last 20 years. And I can say that relatively, because I've been turkey hunting for, not 20 years now, but, 16, 17 years. But been going with my dad for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was seeing it in the prime and the heyday around here. And, where we are 8F, 8J. And the numbers are not there anymore. And it's a big habitat change. And more hunters, 10 years ago, in the last 10 years and then the last 20 as well. So there's more trucks. There's more hunters. There's a lot of other factors. There's a lot less trappers and, predators getting, taken off the landscape too. So when you put that all together, it just compounds for issues, I think, for the turkeys.
Absolutely, I agree. And so speaking to what you were talking about with the Adirondacks,
mm-hmm.
ties into exactly what David said in the comments, where he said 42 years ago we could hunt 7 weekends in the Adirondacks without seeing a buck. But when we did shoot one, any buck, it was a story we'll talk about to this day. And
absolutely,
that is the beauty of a good hunting camp.
Yep.
And personally, I don't really see a lot of hunting camps anymore.
No. Very few and far between.
You could call, Jesse, you, Nate, and a couple...
With the shed and stuff like that. Right. Yeah.
With what we have, that is essentially our hunting camp. Mm-hmm. We don't all go out and hunt together, but...
And come back and talk about the hunts and sharing the stories at the end of the day, yeah. Absolutely. But... No, I think it's good. I think it definitely leaves a lot on the table for conversation for future episodes. But I know you got to ride back home. You got, 35 minutes?
Depending on the weather, closer. It was about 45-minute drive here with the weather.
Yeah. Yeah, roads are a little blustery, breezy, so want to make sure we get Jake home at a good time and get him home safely. So want to thank everyone for tuning in to episode 21. This will be posted up on the YouTube channel. For future viewing and stuff like that. We'll title it up, all that good stuff. And I want to thank Jake for coming on again.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. We do still have hoodies in stock. I know we're both wearing the green tonight. Just happened to be. This one just got done in the laundry. That's why I'm wearing mine.
I wore this one to work.
Oh, perfect.
Great marketing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So we do still have hoodies. $45. If you want them shipped, we can ship them for right around $10 usually if you're in New York. Cost a little bit more to ship one to Idaho, but it is what it is.
Attaboy, Derek.
Yep. Yeah, that one was for his wife. So
cheers to you, David.
Yeah.
Cheers to you.
Cheers, Dave. Yeah, we still have brown in a few sizes and green in everything small through 2X still for the green ones. So the green ones I think are a little bit better quality, a little bit warmer, a little bit better fleece lining in them than the brown ones. But the brown ones are only available in a few sizes. So, but yeah, and thanks to everyone that has bought a hoodie. It helps support the whiskey. I have a new camera ordered for the podcast. I have a new Ethernet cord, so we're not going to try to run off of Wi-Fi anymore. We're going to try to hardwire it in to bring a better picture and quality to this for when we show stuff or give examples or talk about stuff. We bring a better product to the table for the viewers, and that's all. It's still a net loss.
But we're having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah. So just a little splash of the Long Branch because that was our drink of the night. Just a little splash for the last cheers sign off. For
a little bit. There we go.
Perfect. So, cheers, everyone. Thanks to everyone that has stuck around with us, or if you're just tuning into this, thank you very much. There'll be a little button in the bottom corner if you want to subscribe to the channel.
Please subscribe.
I'm getting fancy with my little end of the episode edits. It'll be right down in the bottom corner. The little Whitetails emblem will show up down there. You click on that, subscribe to the channel. There'll be another little one on the other side for previous episodes. I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can.
How many subscribers are we at?
Oh, it's very minimal. I mean, Facebook, we're at like 250 likes-ish in that ballpark. Subscribers, I think we're only like 25 on the YouTube channel.
All right, so I'll go on a limb here. For subscribers on YouTube, is that what it was?
Yeah, YouTube's at 25.
We get that to 75, and then we get the Facebook likes to, there were 250.
Yeah, something like that.
We get it to 400. I'll do something wild, but
oh Jesus,
we're gonna let the subscribers and those who like decide.
Yep, and Chris says that his hoodies made it in and they're warm. Those went down to Pennsylvania.
Oh, we got some PA boys in here.
Yeah, PA. We had somebody tuning in from Iowa, New York. Obviously, Derek tunes in from Idaho. So we're expanding slowly but surely. But thank you, everybody. And thank you, Chris. Thank you to Dave, bought a hoodie. A lot of people in the comments bought hoodies. Barb and all them at K&M got hoodies. So,
oh, that's awesome.
You know, thanks to everybody that's been supporting the channel. We'll get a new camera. It's on order. The new Ethernet cable's on order. Trying to bring a better product to the table for everybody. Trying to keep, you know, good whiskey in stock for episodes and stuff like that. So we can give away more Infinity bottles and maybe do bottle giveaways. And who knows where the channel goes. But thanks, Jake, for coming out. Cheers,
Thanks,
everybody.
for having me. Cheers.
We'll see y'all next time, guys. And subscribe. And we'll see you at episode 22 or whenever you're listening to this. Take care, guys.
Take care.